What are you doing in this market? Are you taking some chips off the table, enjoying the benefit of buying at lower levels when markets fell in the month of April, or you are with the cheerleaders and you think this market rally is going to extend for next couple of days, weeks, or months?
Yeah, good morning, Nikunj. Well, I think the strategy is very, very clear. Stay invested with quality stocks. Don't try and dabble into too many number of companies. Certainly keep yourself away from, I think, the momentum driven, particularly mid cap and small cap stocks. And I think stay with, I think, the quality names. That's the mantra that we have been following. And I believe that I think that has worked well, I think, in this particular quarter. Some of the larger companies in which I think we kept our focus has actually rewarded us well because I think the rally has been I think quite good in them. Though one could argue that I think some of the mid cap, small cap companies would have given you far better return. But I think that's not where I think I am looking at. I'm looking at more I think quality, more fundamental. As long as this liquidity I think continues, everybody has a doubt about this liquidity, but I think it is continuing. On one side, I think economic parameters are trying to improve. On the other side, I think liquidity is in abundance, and probably I think the and most of the passive funds who are basically operating the market, chasing the liquidity across the globe, probably I think they are the ones who are driving the prices. So I think safe approach would be better. Keep the balance. Maybe I think you keep profit booking at some level in some of the stocks where I think you are getting your advantage on the price on which I think you purchase. So that is how I think one should safely play out in this particular market. There is no particular theory as to you get out completely and get in again, I think at a lower levels. I would think that I think if you have bought it at lower levels, then book your profits in a gradual manner.
Okay, let's look at the texture of the market yesterday. And IT Devane came back with a vengeance. After TCS's commentary, the management sounding very bullish of a revival come Q3. You had the rest of the IT pack as well hold up. Still opportunities you would think, or do you think the run up has been rather swift? So wait for a dip before you try and get into any of the IT names?
So, good morning, Aisha. The one important aspect definitely is that I think majority of the companies are moving themselves into the digital world. So, obviously, I think the clients of likes of TCS, Infosys, Tech Mahindra, they certainly I think are giving them enough amount of direction as far as I think the business and the growth is concerned. These companies have also significantly invested in vertical wise platforms, I think, which is again giving them an advantage that they could possibly reach out to their customers and the customers could buy their services on a SaaS basis. So, this is again, I think, a significant development. This is on the fundamental side. But more importantly, any sector which has a significant amount of market cap, the liquidity is going to chase, I think, those companies. And that's where I think the IT, that's where I think some of the large pharma companies would stand in because I think the majority of the world market players are basically wanting to look at India. They are looking at, I think, liquidity-driven counters, and that is where I think you can argue that some of these companies could possibly even scale up further. So I totally agree on one aspect that the growth rate in the business is not going to be something which is very fancy for many of the IT companies. If they end up managing in the third quarter and fourth quarter thereafter, I think 10-12% kind of a growth, that would be a great growth to talk about. But I think nothing in spectacular as far as I think the larger numbers are concerned. So from that perspective, I think don't look at I think only the fundamentals, but look at the liquidity which is driving into some of the select counters, and that's where one can argue that the stock prices could rally further from I think the lows I think which they make in the recent times.
Sure. Devan, we've been, talking a lot about the stocks that are set to move even higher on the back of the rural story and the agri story as well. Would you be looking at those pockets, whether it's agri commodities, consumption? I mean, we have seen that spike when it comes to some of the select auto majors catering to that category. Is it sustainable? What are some of the other pockets that you think could really benefit here?
So a good part is that rural India is definitely, I think, driving the economy at this point of time. 65 to 70% of India's economy is being contributed through this particular segment. Whereas the metros and the cities are facing their own problems as far as I think the lockdown unlock is concerned. I think all of these issues probably I think not bother them, and that is a good part of it as far as consumption is concerned. The companies which have expanded their distribution reach and probably I think are in a better position to take the advantage are relatively better off in the FMCG space, in the white goods space. At the same time, I think more importantly, I think in the auto space, particularly, you have the tractor business, which is being driven by a good set of stability in the agricultural segment of the activity. Two-wheeler in particular, I think is also getting major amount of boost because of I think the rural economy is driving well. So in my viewpoint, yes, I think select companies are definitely benefiting, likes of Mahindra and Mahindra, likes of Escorts in the tractor segment, likes of I think Bajaj Auto, Hero, TVS, I think in the two-wheeler segment. So certainly, I think one could possibly argue that any kind of correction in the market in these counters would become a buy opportunity, given the fact that I think the market on the other side for them is available and likely to be better post the monsoon season.
Even why is that every company which has raised funds, those stocks have become toppy? Whether it is Bharti, which is struggling to go above 600 now. Look at Reliance. I mean, if Reliance is a play on telecom, it should have moved higher with Reliance. Similarly, Axis Bank and now ICICI Bank, which has announced that they are planning to raise capital. So let's start with Bharti, Devin. Reliance is going up because of Jio platform valuation. If that is the case, then why Bharti is lagging behind?
It's an important question and very, very meaningful discussion, according to me. I think the complete ecosystem that the Geo has created to its platform is probably, I think, the only company probably who could have thought about it and have done this. Today, I think you want to create, I think, a similar amount of fiber network. You want to create a similar amount of, I think, the tower network. You have to create a similar amount of vertical approach, I think, on the platform. I think covering all the 6 or 7 verticals, I think, on which the platform is going to be providing the business to each of the customers. I don't think that any of the companies, probably in the Indian horizon, in the telco business, even for international market, I think Leo side one or two, have done enough on this particular side. So on one side, I think you created a complete platform-based approach, be it in healthcare, be it in gaming, media entertainment, payments, and e-commerce. Uh, and the mobility is the one area through which I think you acquire the retail customers, the end customer. This is what I think the people have done in Geo. Whereas in case of other telcos, I think they've been focusing more on the mobility business, and probably I think that mobility business has given them some amount of customers at the ground level for sure. But in the new times, I think the enterprise customers who can consume more data, more content, I think is missing. So if anybody has to come near to that is Bharti, and probably I think it will take time. In my viewpoint, I think it would be around I think 2 to 3 years, if not more, is going to be the time that they would be taking to catch up with what Reliance Jio is today. And that is the reason for which I think you may find that the people are remaining a little bit more, I think, careful buying at higher price. At the same time, I think the return ratio, if you see, they are not something which is very great at the current price. So from that perspective too, people would remain careful in adding the stock at higher price. Maybe I think corrective downside would give them an opportunity to buy into the trading portfolios.
Devin, I'm asking this perhaps on a daily basis that if retail volumes are back, which is the best brokerage stock to buy? I mean, KR Choksi is not listed. If it was listed, we would have had a different conversation. But you understand the brokerage business. You are in that business. You make a living out of that business. So if somebody has to bet on, let's say, the advent of Indian retail trader stroke investor coming back, who's not coming via the mutual fund route, who's essentially a day trader or a positional trader or even an investor, this is a trend which we've not seen in a long time. If this trend is back, somebody will make money. So for a stock market investor who wants to look at trends, how can one bet on this trend and make money?
Yes, Nikunj, I think important question. And I think the discount brokerages have probably, I think, scored maximum in this particular period. Would refrain from putting the names across, but at the same time, I think they are known names. Whenever they have offered the discount brokerage product, I think they've been able to pull in more customers. And one of the reasons for which I think they are getting the success is also because of the online platform that they have created. So that is one of the reasons. But more importantly, I think on the customer side, the behavioral part of the customer, when other businesses are uncertain, when their payment from other businesses are not forthcoming, it is this business, I think, which is basically giving them the volatility based play. And as a result of which, I think they play around in the market. So certainly they've added more number of customers. I would like to see how many brokerages have added more number of customers in the advisory segment of the business. Because I think currently the situation demands that those who are holding their portfolio, they seek advice from the experts. And from that point of view, I think not many players have done enough amount of effort. That is what my take is. Some players have definitely worked harder, but I think not reached enough, I think, to the end customer. According to me, I think the retail customers to come back, I think the advisor will play a very critical role going forward. And that's where I think you're likely to see a strong emergence of some of the brokerages who have been basically focusing on the advisory segment of the business in bringing the real investors into the market. I'm not talking about the discount brokerage practices because they come with the flavor of the season. And obviously, I think when the volatility gets affected, I think their business also do get affected to an extent.
Even on the consumer names, I mean, there were some reports today about perhaps the recovery being stalled somewhat, at least with certain urban centers once again going into lockdown. We all know those catering to staples like a Britannia, for example, or are still doing relatively better and commanding some very premium valuations. But across the board, when it comes to consumption, that there may still be a longer recovery in store. What's your view on that segment?
About the consumer behavior is, I think, clearly seen. Today, I think everybody is basically, I think, getting into the food, I think, which is available, I think, ready to eat to a greater extent because I think the issue is connected to working from home and otherwise. So from that point of view, the names which you have mentioned, like Britannia, Nestle, I think they are relatively, I think, safe play because A, they have got expanded reach into the rural markets. B, I think due to this lockdown and again unlocking of the economy or the cities or the places would once again mean that the consumption pattern, I think, remaining steady to higher in this particular cases of business. In my viewpoint, I think they are likely to be the biggest beneficiary in this particular uncertain period of time. At the same time, I think one must understand that I think the quarter July to September is a quarter where majority part of the country is trying to get into the normalcy situation, which is not immediately thing. I think it is right now, I think, more on a recovery side than normalcy. Maybe I think October to December quarter would be the time wherein I think you would first experience a normal situation in majority of the businesses in the trade. But till that point of time, any company shows the signs of normalcy. I would rather like to think that investor would start looking at that company more favorably because their numbers, operating numbers, would come out more encouraging than ever before. So I think that is an area where I think you could keep an eye on some of the select FMCG companies like Britannia, Nestle's, uh, HUL for that matter.
They then have to talk about Reliance. You've got the big one tomorrow, the AGM, with the stock already nudging 1900 plus levels. What's the expectations? 13 checks already in for Jio. Do you think a definitive timeline for debt reduction or some deals for the oil and gas business, the Aramco deal in particular, or for that matter for Reliance Retail is something now that the street is going to be looking forward to?
So on one side, I think the known elements like Aramco deal, what is the status, when exactly I think it is going to materialize, that definitely would be a question which would be asked for. On the other side, I think the Geo has been systematically diluting and probably bringing in money. So what is the next game plan? I think whether they want to go on the listed path soon or they want to wait for some more time. On the retail side, again, I think the question would be asked that O2O model, the offline to online model, is basically, I think, getting integrated through Geo platform. That is understood. How fast I think this is getting into the business on other verticals other than the grocery. Grocery, they've started with GeoMart. So other verticals, I think people would like to understand. So these are some of the areas where I think people would like to understand relatively more clearly. But the larger game plan, which could possibly unfold, is that Reliance is becoming a holding company. Under the holding company, I think these are the three operating companies: Reliance O2C, oil to chemical, the Geo platform, and the retail. They are established. Payment is one area which is still not, I think, clear. In my understanding, I think probably Reliance, with the kind of balance sheet that they have, would be probably, I think, the one who would be nurturing the payment business to begin with. And it will be eventually, I think, separated out into a separate company under Reliance. So it would be interesting to watch out what commentary says about the company Reliance as a holding company and bringing up and building up the businesses into the operating companies. So this is one area where I would like to keep my eye on as far as I think the AGM and the commentary of the company is concerned.